Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you really want to learn a foreign language, but you just never find time for it because you have a busy schedule, you found the right video. Los geht's! My name is Dustin. I'm an IT project manager from Germany, and on this channel we create content that helps us to be more productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today we will talk about how to make time for language learning each day, even if you have a full-time job, kids or other obligations. So I'll show you a bunch of methods that you can use, like tools from a toolbox, to incorporate into your daily schedule. You can pick what suits your life the best. First of all, I will give you a short introduction into the topic and why it's so important. Then we will discover how you can incorporate listening exercises flexible into your day. Next step is to combine the learning with activities you do anyway on a daily basis to create some mini immersions. Also, we will talk about how to make time for learning and planning ahead, and also why it's important to make your progress visible and to track your time. Okay, let's dive into today's topic. First of all, learning a language to fluency is a marathon and not a sprint, so you need to spend lots of time to get there. That of course means we need to fit it into our daily schedules and make sure that it's sustainable over the long run. I don't want you to burn out while learning a language. Neither did I when I learned French for over 1000 hours. So first of all, everybody is highly individual, and so are our lives. Days can be chaotic or organized, depending on which phase of life you are currently, and depending on your character, of course. So learning is individual, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. You need to get to know yourself and only pick what works best for you. What I love about listening to audio content is that you can do three things at once. First, you can improve your listening comprehension. Second, you can listen to interesting content about topics you like. And third, you can do other things while doing that. Like for example, you could clean the kitchen or something.
I call that triple productivity.
So let me give you some inspiration how you can combine those things actually. First of all, when to do it. Everything around your apartment or house, for example, like cleaning the dishes, vacuum cleaning the apartment, or all those kind of things are the perfect opportunity to do some listening exercises with your headphones on. All those things become even way more pleasant this way. Since I do that, I really like vacuum cleaning the apartment or do other things in the household. You are commuting to work? Great, you can also do some listening exercises. While you're sitting in the subway, for example, you can put your headphones in, or when you're driving by car, even better, then you can even repeat the stuff out loud and nobody will look at you like you're mad. So perfect opportunity to do some learning. You could also take a walk and combine the movement with some listening exercises. This way the learned stuff might even stick better because you can attach it to external sensations. If you have kids, then listen with them to music and tales in your target language. Kids stories are anyway pretty good if you're not too advanced. So now, what content should we actually consume? So first of all, there are those audio boxes for kids where you can put on like small figurines that have songs or little stories on it. And there's also a so-called creative Tony where you can put on audio files yourself, so like MP3 files or something. So far there are only 3 languages, German, English and French, but I guess there will be more to come. And also there are other companies who are producing basically the same. I found one who are creating something in Italian, so that I can highly recommend. I think it's a great way to learn a language while still spending time with your children. And then you can of course also listen to podcasts. So if you're just starting with your target language or are not too advanced, then I would recommend to start with specific podcasts for language learning. So you could, for example, search for something like learn Italian or learn French or whatever language you're learning. When you're more advanced, you can also look for podcasts for native speakers or fluent speakers. That's also pretty useful. Especially at the advanced stage, you should make sure that you only listen to content that you are really interested in to keep your motivation high. Then there is also in Link, for example, lots of content pre-made, like the Link mini stories I can highly recommend, and lots of other content. And you can of course listen to audiobooks, like from Audible, for example. There are also audiobooks in many languages available. If you want to know in general how to find good content, I also made a video about that. I will link it somewhere Here. Yeah, here. Then the question is, how can we do stuff that we would do anyway in our target language to simulate like mini immersions, while at the same time not having to spend extra time? I have some answers for you. You need to learn something for work or read a book? Yeah, make sure to read it in your target language if you're advanced enough. You need or you want to learn something in general, or you have a project that you are working on? Make sure to find a YouTube channel about that topic and learn something about that in your target language. For example, this YouTube channel here. I learned a lot about how to create a YouTube channel from a French YouTube channel actually. You watch the news daily, or you read a newspaper, or you listening to the news on the radio. Make sure to find equivalents in your target language. Often there's also something available which is a bit simplified, so simplified news. To stay fit, you do home workouts? Great! Do home workouts in your target language. You like cooking? Okay, but now you know the answer. Find a YouTube channel or some recipes in your target language. You got friends or colleagues at work who speak the language you want to learn? Great! Ask them if you can speak with them for a fixed amount of time in the target language you want to learn. Remember, it's anyway a good idea to choose languages that get spoken by your inner circle of friends. And if it's just 5 minutes for a coffee break, that doesn't matter. 5 minutes are good. Same applies also to writing messages with them. Also, you can change the device language, for example from a smartphone, from a computer or whatever, to the target language. This way you will pick up many new words just by doing the stuff you would do anyway. Well, probably I wouldn't do it right from the start, and I'm talking by experience here. So yeah, if you're a bit intermediate, then that should be safe to go. You write a daily journal? Perfect! Do it in your target language. Of course, I know, in the beginning it will be hard and your thoughts will be very simplified and very basic, but then you will build up your momentum and it will get more complex again. And it can also feel really nice to think a bit simpler. I can highly recommend a platform called Journaly for doing your journaling. You got a reading habit in general, where you read each day something? Do it in your target language. You can also speak to yourself or think in your target language while you're doing other stuff. So try to describe what you are doing on a daily basis while doing it. Like, for example, j'ouvre le frigo. Je cherche quelque chose de délicieux. Est-ce qu'il y a chocolat? Je ne sais pas. Je dois manger quelque chose. J'ai faim. You watch TV in the evening? Netflix or something? Well, do it in your target language, of course. Make sure to use also subtitles in your target language. That's important. You have trouble to fall into sleep sometimes? Well, you could listen to a bedtime story in your target language. You always fiddle around with your smartphone while waiting for something or sitting on the toilet? Well, you could use that time more productively. Just make sure to install an app like Drops and use it whenever you have time. You meditate each day? Perfect! Meditate in your target language. There's an app called Calm, for example, that you can switch to your target language. You go on vacation once a year or twice a year or whatever. Try to pick a country where your target language gets spoken. If you have kids, you can also play some language learning games with them, like Lingo Legend for example. I think it's a great project to learn a language together. If you do something creative, like a blog or a YouTube channel or something, you could also do that in your target language, like I do, for example, in English. My mother tongue is German, so please forgive me for all the errors I make. I try my best. You could also try to find a lover in your target language. This is one of the fastest ways to learn a language actually, from what I've heard. Also, if your partner is not speaking another language, you can also make it a project to learn a language together. You're into playing video games, well, you can also play them in your target language. Or there are also dedicated games for language learning. I already did a video about that and I will link it here. Then you should also try to actively make time and plan ahead. Why? Because if you can just sit down and do nothing but learning, you will have a higher intensity and thus will learn much more in a shorter amount of time. Ideally, plan your week ahead by using time blocks that you put into your calendar. I do that each week on a Sunday for the whole week, where I allocate time to specific projects I want to work on. Make sure that you are undisturbed during that time and that you have a high energy. For example, if you are a morning person, it should be in the morning. If you are an evening person or night owl, do it in the evening. Do it at least for 30 minutes a day, like deep work if possible. I got all that from Cal Newport. He wrote some great books and I will also link them into the description. Also, plan your speaking sessions already way ahead. Like you could plan them on Sunday already, like I do, where I book my next italki sessions. If you want to learn how to speak, you need to speak. There's no way around that. You can also try to find language learning groups in your city and then participate. They can also be virtual and the other people will hold you accountable. If you get to sit down for learning, then use a Pomodoro timer. I used that technique for a long time now, and without that I wouldn't achieve anything, to be honest. 25 minutes of focus followed by a 5-minute break. This gets me always going. Make it visible. I already did a video about that and I will link it here. In a nutshell, make it visible means that you know where you are and what progress you are making. You can track the time you spend doing all those activities by using an app like Clockify, for example. Then at the end of a week, month or year, you will be able to see how much time you have spent with the target language. For example, I learned over 1000 hours of French while working full-time and doing many other things. Without time tracking, it sometimes can feel like you're making no progress at all, especially if you're at the intermediate plateau. But if you track it, you have a sense of accomplishment. To find time for language learning is a highly individual task, and everybody has a different life and schedule. Try to find things that work for you and don't compare yourself with others. Pick one thing and then add other stuff. Remember, language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. I hope I could give you some inspiration on how to fit language learning into your life. If you want to know more about apps for language learning that make your life easier, I got a playlist for that. And also, if you want to spice up your language learning with gaming, I got a playlist for you as well. And last but not least, I would really like to hear from you in the comments if you have other ways on how to incorporate language learning into your daily life. Thank you very much for watching and see you the next time.